Yeah, so thanks very much for the invitation today. My name's Alex Peden, and I'm the Head of Regional Engagement for Scotland for EPSRC. I'll just start off quickly by giving you a bit of information. EPSRC and UKRI generally, and all the other research councils, got their new budgets from the UK government last year. So here's just some numbers here. EPSRC is in the top corner, so it's about 1.9 billion we've got to spend between 2022 and 2025. The interesting things that have happened this spending round are that UKRI as an organisation has become more established. So in the next few years, UKRI, as well as the individual research councils, will be giving out funding opportunities. So if you're an EPSRC person or an NERT person generally, it would also be worth looking out for UKRI funding opportunities. The other interesting thing that's happening here is that all of the studentship and fellowship funding across all the research councils has been pulled into a UKRI budget, and that's in the bottom corner there, so that's 2.8 billion. So a lot of the studentships and fellowships will be changing over the next few years, so it's worth keeping an eye out for that as well. All of the research councils and UKRI, their strategies are now formulated in this little diagram across the corner there. So a lot of those kind of topics are not going to be pretty familiar to you. So people in careers, that's studentships, fellowships, technician commitment. Impact is still a huge part of what research councils want to do and feeding into all the conversations we're having today. Obviously, ideas and innovation is core to what we're trying to fund at all of the research councils. And one of the new things there is really a focus on places around the UK. And to an extent, that ties in a little bit with the UK government's levelling up agenda, which, depending on who's in charge, is higher up the agenda or lower up the agenda. But EPSRC and UKRI are focusing on thinking about how we support places to do research and innovation and what that looks like going forward. There's also a big strategy on UKRI and EPSRC developing its own internal processes around becoming a world-class organisation. So there'll be some internal changes for EPSRC as well. So pulling down from UKRI's strategy into EPSRC's strategic priorities, a lot of this is going to be really familiar to people that have been paying attention to EPSRC generally, but we still have a clear route to get research funding and innovation funding, and that's through our physical sciences and mathematical core disciplines, through manufacturing and engineering, and through digital futures. So that's the information and communication technology theme. But we've also got, as we've had for maybe 20 years, we've also had mission or challenge-inspired topics. So at the moment, that's around engineering net zero, as with a lot of other funders, AI and digitalization and data, and also transforming health and healthcare. And underneath that, there's teams within EPSRC that do work around international collaboration, talent and skills, which is PhDs and fellowships, place, which is the team that I'm working in as the regional engagement lead, our infrastructure team, and also our business engagement team that look after our economy. And all of this is aiming to provide an effective system for engineering and physical sciences research to operate within. So a bit more information about what that ecosystem activity kind of looks like is really a lot of work on our equality and diversity activities. So that's actions within EPSRC to make our processes fairer, and also supporting universities to do similar activities. We're really looking to connect EPSRC with people like Scottish Government, with Interface, with Scottish Enterprise, and that's part of my role as the Head of Regional Engagement, to make sure EPSRC knows what the Scottish Government's doing and the Scottish Government knows what EPSRC is doing. There's obviously a big focus on international research, especially around the uncertainty around Horizon Europe and the association there, so the international team's very focused there. We're also picking up on Bill's comment around it's not just one individual genius that's pushing this forward, it's about team science, and we've got a big focus on research technical professionals and supporting them to be engaged in and acknowledged on research grants. And we're investing quite a lot in our digital infrastructure over the next 3 or 4 years as well. So one thing that I just wanted to highlight particularly is this is a kind of tech-focused meeting, is that we've got some new structures internally at EPSRC, and the budgets associated with those are changing over the next few years around our digital technology. So we've got, so in April last year, we closed the digital economy and digital twin themes at EPSRC. The approaches for those activities are now embedded into our core programs, so we'll still be looking for making sure social sciences are involved in our ICT type activity. And as a new theme within EPSRC, we've created digital security and resilience, and that's really, to an extent, come from the UK government and the kind of increased focus around digital security for infrastructure in the UK. So you'll see new calls coming out with a stronger focus around security and resilience from EPSRC. So just to kind of give you a summary of how things are structured in the digital technology space, we've got at the top information and communication technologies. So if you're submitting a responsive mode grant to EPSRC, that's generally the theme that you would be considered under. And then our UKRI AI and robotics theme in this bottom corner, you'll see calls coming out from them, including the AI Hub that's out just now and the AI CDTs that are out just now. And this is our new program here, Digital Security and Resilience. And this is kind of how these three themes are working together to cover our digital technologies information. So key contacts here for ICT is Glenn Goodall. He's the theme lead and the budget holder for that. James Draycott is working across council for the UK on behalf of UKRI, but embedded within EPSRC on AI and robotics. And Mark Gasgarth is our lead for digital security and resilience. So in terms of the priorities in the information and communication theme in the next 3 or 4 years, we've got next generation computing. The cross-cutting ones are here, kind of the technical themes. Sustainable ICT and ICT for sustainability, semiconductor technology, and then future communication systems. But that's not to say that you need to focus your research applications on those entirely. We're open to any idea through our responsive mode route. And in terms of things that we're trying to generate and support throughout the ICT research community is making sure that people and usability, human factors, and human-centered designs embedded into the ICT research. The AI and data science, where that's appropriate, included in applications and supported. And again, kind of linking on to that new program that we're working on is the digital security and trust of ICT systems. And in terms of the UKRI Artificial Intelligence Research and Innovation Programme, you'll see it's a similar structure. But this is really about embedding AI into not just into computer science, but across all sorts of disciplines, into medicine, into biology, into environmental science. So how can we take that new AI technology and apply it into different areas? So they're looking at innovation, adoption, and diffusion into other research areas, making sure that AI is contributing to the challenges and missions that the UK and Scottish Government are articulating, and identifying new AI capabilities. Digital security and resilience is only about less than a year old, so we're still identifying and developing the strategy there. But really, it's about supporting technologies, approaches that will embed secure and resilient digital technology. So you'll see this theme developing its strategy over the next few years, and there'll certainly be opportunities for researchers to feed into that through workshops and events. So keep an eye out for that appearing on our website as well. So a couple of years ago, EPSRC and all the research councils removed the Pathways to Impact part of your application document. And this is really just a section to reinforce that doesn't mean that we don't care about impact. We absolutely do care about impact at EPSRC, and we're really interested in supporting you and your research to have more impact. So although it's not a separate section now, we really want you to still include your impact activities and still ask for funds to do impact activities on your research grants. Really this is about making sure that EPSRC's got the evidence to show government that our research is making a difference in wider society, and that means that we increase our budget, and that means that we can give out more grants to you guys for research. So it's really fundamental that we link up with all the conversations that we've had today to make sure that through pushing impact out into society, we're also able to generate more funding for research through government discussions. And just to reiterate as well to everybody what impact means to EPSRC, it's really, really broad. So new knowledge is fundamental to what we're trying to support at the research councils, and clearly scientific advances and just new things that are happening within research is core to what we're trying to do. We're also obviously interested in how that new information impacts society, so how it impacts regulations, policies, new products, anything like that. We're also interested in making sure that as the funding that we provide to you supports the people that are doing that research. So making sure that the researchers and PhD students involved in this research are supported to develop their own careers, supported to upskill themselves, to understand how the research ecosystem works and how those skills are transferable out into other aspects of society. And we've spoken a lot about economy, so job creation, inward investment, all that sort of stuff. And that's a big part of what EPSRC Impact is as well, mainly because a lot of researchers and a lot of the research we support already generates a lot of activity in that area. So a couple of opportunities that we've got live at the moment at EPSRC. I'm quite involved in this one, so it's a new scheme for EPSRC. It's not research funding, it's impact funding, and it's called Place-Based Impact Acceleration Account. So it's a brand new scheme that we've developed. Really, we're hoping to focus and support researchers to focus their impact activity onto clusters and places within the UK. So that's really, we're trying to make our impact funding more available across to people like Edinburgh Napier University that don't currently get our impact acceleration account grants. So this is completely open for any university in the UK to apply to. The deadline's the 25th of April, so we've given people plenty of time to kind of put a grant together around this. The idea is really that you identify a place or a cluster, you put together a consortium with businesses, civic partners and universities to push the impact from that consortium's research portfolio into the business cluster in the area and change the research and change the kind of innovation trajectory of that cluster. We're really interested in making sure that each of these place-based impact acceleration accounts are co-created with a civic organisation so that it's linked to the regional development strategy of that place. We want each of these to include a collaborative fund so that other universities outside the consortium can be included and to focus on public engagement within this. And there's a bit more information here that we can circulate on the proposal costing and requesting money for equipment on these as well. Prosperity Partnerships is something that we'll be funding again within UPSRC. So this is one of our flagship business opportunities. It's about collaborative research and R&D. So a university receives money from EPSRC and that's matched by their company partners. So it's really supporting strategic research and collaboration with industry at quite a low TRL level, so not necessarily into the higher TRL levels. The characteristics there are really about being co-created with those industry partners, involving business and academics that have a good quality track record around research impact. It's about shared challenges and having impact on the research agenda in the UK. So these are the kinds of companies that we're working with currently in our current portfolio, but over the next few years the team is looking to see if we can change this scheme or augment this scheme to include more SME type activity in this. So you'll see that these are huge companies, GSK, Unilever, etc. And we're going to try to see if we can innovate around this scheme to support SME type engagement as well. So that's just a little bit more information about the process and about the funding here. Stephen Webb is the contact for this scheme, so if you've got any questions, he'd be really keen to engage with you, and if you've got any ideas about how we might support SME kind of collaboration here, he would be very interested in hearing about that as well. We've got our Centres for Doctoral Training call live at the moment. There's also a UKRI AI CDT call, which we're running kind of in parallel. So these are, as you'll know, our big investment in PhD students. They'll be looking to start in 24-25. I guess, unfortunately, the big news here is at the moment we're currently supporting about 80 centres for doctoral training. We're expecting to fund about 40 in the next call, so it's going to be very, very competitive. And unfortunately, we'll probably see some of our existing centres not receive funding. on this. But it's definitely worth Napier connecting across the portfolio to see what opportunities you could get in here. It's really around, the applications are to be supported around 3 different priorities. So that's meeting a user need, so that's where there's a business pool for PhD student training, delivering an EPSRC research priority, so populating that basic research agenda, and also supporting innovative approaches to PhD training. So we're looking for you to tell us how you might want to innovate around PhD training. In general, that's just 3 opportunities. I've talked it through really quickly there today, but you can find all of EPSRC and UKRI's funding opportunities on the funding finder there. There's lots, and there's certainly lots coming out recently since we've all got our budgets across all the councils. And for ECRs, there's also a UKRI engagement forum that you can engage with. So that's feeding into EPSRC and UKRI around policies to support ECRs, policies to support how we connect with you, how our funding opportunities are framed to support you as ECRs. So that I'd definitely encourage anybody that's interested in policy engagement or engaging with funders to reach out to UKRI through those links. Thanks very much. This is my email address. If there's any questions or anything that would be useful to chat through, please feel free to drop me an email.